Hey everyone, and welcome to Chef AJ Live. I'm your host, Chef AJ, and this is where I introduce you to amazing people like you who are doing great things in the world that I think you should know about. Well, today is the third Wednesday of the month, which means it's time for none other than Dillon and Reebs from Well Your World. Today, they're going to be making some wonderful, delicious, healthy SOS-free, that means sugar, oil, salt-free, vegan plant-based dishes from their meal rotator, specifically cheesy hash brown casserole, potato corn chowder, and a roasted veggie salad. Take it away, Dillon and Reebs.
Hello, everybody. Thanks for having us, AJ. Happy to be back. I feel like we were just on like yesterday. This has been the fastest month. We had a baby turn 1 year old, so we had a little party for him. It's been busy. I had a birthday too, Mother's Day. My goodness.
Yeah, and now Memorial Day is coming up.
Wow. We're flying. After this, we're getting on a plane to Chicago. So it's been busy.
Wow, May's a big month for you.
Every month. But that's okay. We're used to it. It's all about work.
What's in Chicago?
Family. That's where Rebecca's from. So we're heading back. We're gonna have a little tiny little birthday party for Luca there, and all of that.
Is that his first time on a plane?
No, this will be his 11th time on a plane.
Oh my gosh.
Yeah,
Kid's got more frequent flyer miles than I do.
He's flown a lot, but it has been a few months. We'll see how much of it he actually remembers and how well he behaves now that he can walk. Before he couldn't walk. So we're just gonna turn him loose. Once the seatbelt sign goes off, we'll just let him go.
Let him explore.
Terrific.
We are making healthy food today, folks, just like every time. If you don't know of us, this is Well Your World. We have a YouTube channel just like AJ. Been making videos for a long time. Started out with making videos when I got my own health in order. And then, amassed a following and thought, what am I going to do for people? And to make this my actual living where I don't have to have another job, because I wanted to do this is what I actually enjoy. And we started doing a cooking show like we're going to be doing here for you today back in 2018, long before it was popular. And we also sell a lineup of healthy products. We have a whole lineup of SOS-free products that just got back in stock literally yesterday. So we've got our cheese sauce, which is our most popular product. We're going to be using it today in one of our recipes, finally back in stock. Our marinaras, all this stuff was out because I cannot believe how popular our stuff has been. Our business is growing leaps and bounds. So thank you all for the support. And let's get to the cooking. We're going to make 3 really simple dishes. And they are all very fast and easy. Reebs, you want to tell us about your meal rotator?
So it's a free PDF that you can download. It's in the show notes, and we'll pop it up on the screen too. But we're kind of really like getting down into what the Well Your World message is all about, which is making it super simple and super easy, and just taking the brain out of it, because we're all so busy. We make so many important decisions every single day because we go to work, we caretake for our elders, we have children, and we don't want to have to think about what we're making for dinner because, and I've coined this term, recipe amnesia. Have you ever looked inside the fridge and just can't remember any recipe at all or don't know what to make? So I made this meal rotator to combat that. We can talk about it more during the show. But Dill, will you put that?
Yeah, so here is the link, wellyourworld.com/meal rotator, and you can download this guide. It's a beautiful guide. There's a lot of pages too. It's not just a bunch of recipes in a little PDF. This is an explanation of, I think, one of the biggest challenges to adhering to a plant-based diet, which is to make it's just too complex for most people. It's too much work. It's too much time and energy. It's too much thinking about food when most of us aren't really passionate about food. We just want to be healthy and feel well. And we're not all passionate about cooking. We just want to get the right food into our bodies so that we're not putting the bad food into our bodies instead. And we have found, we love cookbooks, but they can be very overwhelming if you're just like browsing one day at what you're going to make that night. I think cookbooks are awesome for kind of planning in advance, but when it's Tuesday night and you're ready to eat, you're not going to be paging through a cookbook trying to figure out what to make. You got to have memorized dishes, not memorized necessarily, but ready access to your core favorite dishes. And that is what this guide is all about. So it's all about cutting corners, accepting what the bare minimum of what you need, to be healthy and get by. You don't need to focus on all these little minute details of chasing after nutrients and all this stuff. Just eat the healthy food, get rid of the garbage you shouldn't be eating, and you'll be able to stick to this in the long term. It is very hard for a lot of people and a lot of personalities to stick to this way of eating. So we talked all about it in this guide, and then we include about 10 or 12 recipes like the ones we're going to be making today. And we have the full page, beautiful, the picture and everything, but we've also included a couple pages at the end with these little cards. And the point here is that you would print these cards out, cut them out, and put just a few recipes, your go-to recipes, the stuff you're going to eat day in, day out, especially during the week. You want to get fancy, you can fancy it up on the weekends and make, still obviously healthy, easy dishes, but you can save the ones that have a few extra steps for the weekend or special occasions or whatever. And when you're cooking for yourself and your family during the week, keep it really, really simple so that you can get in, get out, get the food made, make it taste good and not require a bunch of time. And when you get to the pantry, you've got this full pantry, a full fridge of all your go-to ingredients that you always have. We have a pretty standard list of like fresh produce that we'll buy and have in stock all the time. But sometimes you just, like Reebs said, you open the fridge and you're like, what are all these things in here? I don't know what to do with them. And so when you can just have maybe a half a dozen go-to recipes posted on the fridge or on the inside of your pantry doors where we put them, then you can just be like, I know that I have all of the ingredients for every one of these 6 things. They all take like 10, 20 minutes to prepare, you'll see. And now which one do I want to go and do? And so that is, and your mood's always changing. This is why I don't really like meal planners, because they're very stringent. You have to follow the guide just the way you planned it and with just the groceries you got for it, or they're going to go bad. And it's a lot of stress. It just adds pressure and complexity where we need to be taking that away. So the Well Your World message here is all about getting rid of the complexity. Make this as simple as you possibly can, just like Chef AJ talks about, just like Dr. Doug Lisle talks about. Make it really simple and brainless. And so now I can open the pantry door. I've got like 6 cards to choose from. Boom, I'll make that one. It's really fast. That's what I'm feeling today. You don't know what you're going to feel like tomorrow. That's why a meal planner is hard. But you do know that one of those 6 things are definitely going to be right up your alley today. So that is the purpose of this guide. What say the people? Any questions about that before we get going on our 3 recipes we've chosen?
There's no questions yet, but Jesse said, sometimes I'm definitely not passionate about cooking.
Yeah, I mean, I have a job cooking. I obviously like cooking, but my passion doesn't stem from the actual act of the cooking. It's educating. It's helping people to do something easier than it would have been without that extra help. It's me figuring out the hard stuff so that I can present it to you in an easy way. And that's what we're doing today. If you have any questions at all, please don't hesitate. Reebs, there's a ding-ling going somewhere out there. Maybe it's that iPad of yours.
Oh,
every time you're sending a text.
it?
Yeah, if you won't mind. Okay, we are going to be making 3 super simple dishes today. The first we're going to make is the roasted veggie salad. Yes, this is in the Meal Rotator guide. All of the amounts, everything ready to go. Okay, super simple. First step, I've got a cup of quinoa. This is dry quinoa. Quinoa I really like because it doesn't take very much time at all to cook it. So I do like to rinse my quinoa because it does have a lot of starchy stuff on the little grains, and it helps with digestion a little bit, I've found just from anecdotal experience, to give it a rinse before. So we're gonna go to the sink, give this a rinse, and then I'm gonna throw it in the pot. And I like to cook it like pasta. Check it out. I've got a whole pot of water and I just throw it in. I don't measure this water. I'm just cooking this just like pasta. What do you think of that, Reebs? Do you like my pasta, cook grains like pasta hack?
Yeah, somebody was suggesting us an
Uh-oh, your mic's off. Sorry, say that again, Reebs.
Somebody was just asking us in our Well Your World Facebook group how we cook our brown rice. And same thing, we don't do a water ratio, just cook it like pasta and strain it, man. That totally freed up my brain with having to remember how many cups go to grains for every single grain out there.
Exactly. So I am just going to, I'll go back to the stove cam, hold on a sec. So I just threw a cup of quinoa. You can do more. You don't have to just do a cup. You can cook enough quinoa to keep in the fridge. You know, I'm not one to do a lot of food prep, but I do like having some of my starches prepped. So I don't like prep ready to go recipes because, like I said, I don't know what recipe I'm gonna want to eat. And if I've got something in the fridge that I'm not really feeling, well, then I'm not gonna want to eat it. So I like to prep starches. Like we'll always do cook the potatoes and put them in the fridge. You know that hack, AJ. Have ready rice in the fridge because rice takes a little bit longer. Quinoa and lentils, however, are very fast. So I don't worry too much about cooking those in advance. But you could, if you wanted, cook a couple of cups worth of quinoa and then save some for the rest of your week. I'm gonna set this timer for 12 minutes and that's usually plenty. So, and this is what else I'm gonna do. I'm gonna throw in some turmeric. I just have like a teaspoon of turmeric. I'm gonna throw in here too and mix it in. I like that it adds a little bit of color to the quinoa, some flavor. You know, turmeric's pretty tasty. It's got a subtle earthy flavor, but I also really like that it just makes this a bright looking quinoa. It's fun. Okay, so now we got a little chopping. The other two recipes we're gonna do, there's no chopping at all. We're gonna be using some freezer items, and they're really fast. This one is chopping. I do encourage you to do at least a little bit of chopping in your life, so you've got some fresh produce going in. You know, you can get choppers and stuff like that, but it's good to learn how to use your knife and cutting board. But there are other tools too. I'm just going to cut, this is one nice big zucchini, and I'm just going to cut it into little half moons, okay? We're going to roast these veggies. That's what we're doing. I'm going to throw them all in this big bowl right here next to me, and then we're going to put some seasoning on it. I'm going to use a Well Your World seasoning. Of course, you can use any seasoning you like. It doesn't have to be Well Your World. And I'm just cutting these into nice, you know, more or less bite size. You can cut it into, you can dice it up, you can do whatever you want. It doesn't matter how you do your veggies, just do your veggies.
I like that you can just use any veggies in your fridge. You don't have to use the ones we're using today. Yeah,
definitely. If you've got some of your, like I said, we have a pretty standardized list of fridge items that we get. If you ever have something going bad because you didn't make the dish you often make with that thing, yeah, this is the one. This is just throw everything in the pot and have a good time. Here's a bell pepper. I've got a red bell pepper. Same idea.
Someone's asking, how do you know when you cook the rice the same way you did your quinoa today? How do you know when to stop cooking so it doesn't get mushy?
Well, you just cook the rice for 30 minutes. That's for brown rice, you boil it like pasta for 30 minutes. Everything has, instead of remembering a ratio and the time and all that, now you can just remember the time mostly. For rice, it's 30 minutes, a little bit more if you want it softer. For quinoa, it's about 10 or 12 minutes. For lentils, what do we usually do for lentils? Like, is it 10 or 20? I forget. Because normally I just start it and I go taste it after 10 minutes because you got nothing to do after a few minutes anyway, so you might as well just run it and see how it's going. I'm gonna make this into kind of bite-sized pieces. I'm not dicing it up real small, and I'm not leaving it in big strips either. You could try this with frozen veggies. It does work. It's gonna be a little bit different texture, but it does work. I've got a few carrots. Any other grains? You know, it's just like pasta. You need to know how much time to cook pasta. Mm-hmm. And so everything else is pretty much the same. Same idea, that is. Carrots, I guess I'll do kind of a half moon thing too. I like to cut at least one flat side of the veggie so that it's not just rolling around the cutting board. So that's why I don't usually like cut carrots like this and make like carrot rounds, because I really have to do a lot of balance with my other hand to make sure that I don't cut it right off. So I like to cut things in half so we have a nice flat side, and then you can just cut real fast and simple, smaller bits.
Linda says, I'm eating some Well Your World Italian on my lettuce cups right now for lunch. Yum.
But that's one of our most popular salad dressings. I was gonna use, on this salad, I'm gonna use the sweet heat and the sweet mustard. We have a new batch of sweet heat that's really good. We toned down the heat just a little bit. Everything's the same, just slightly less lingering heat when you take a bite. A few people emailed and they're like, this is too hot. I was like, okay, I can work on that.
You had a spicy batch?
Yeah, it does vary a little bit because the chilies and the habanero, it just by nature of being real food, it's gonna vary just a little bit. Okay. So that was a few carrots I threw in. I've got a head of cauliflower, but I'll just use half of it. And I'm just gonna I'll cut this core, cut the thing in half, and then it's really easy to just core out this part here.
You know what cooks really well from frozen on a sheet pan is frozen butternut squash. We did that in a recent video, and it's just so convenient.
Yeah, that is nice because preparing a fresh whole butternut squash is a lot of work. It's fun to do that kind of thing once in a while, but that is one of the things that saves a lot of time and effort buying it frozen, bagged up and frozen. Okay, this is the whole head, so let's just kind of play it by ear here, and we'll chop this. You just want it to be bite-sized pieces. It can be as big as small as you like it. And we'll just kind of eyeball it, throw some in, and see where it takes us.
Gina says, I don't even like Italian dressing or sriracha, but I love Dillon's.
Oh, good. Yeah, it's probably because it's full of oil usually in the Italian, and the sriracha's usually got a lot of salt and sugar in it. And that makes for, if you don't have that kind of palate, those kinds of flavors are not very good. So I'm glad to hear it. And we are working on a whole lineup of different jarred salsas that are SOS-free.
Oh, say that again, Dill. Say it again.
Jarred salsa. I should say it less because it always takes us longer than we plan to get these things out. But I'm excited for this year to get some new products available for you all. Okay, that's probably going to be good on the cauliflower.
Jesse's yelling, salsa!
I know, we all use so much salsa. It was hard to get the flavors just right, but we're like really onto something now. It took some extra work, but it's really good. Okay, there's the cauliflower. Oh, I had a stray carrot, but we have enough carrot, that's okay. And then let's do some red onion. This is a pretty big red onion, so maybe we'll start with half and see where we end up.
Chef AJ says, I hope there's a green one.
A green what?
Salsa.
Oh yeah, definitely there will be. Okay, that looks pretty good, pretty good. Again, these are not too small, not too big. There's a couple big pieces. I can cut them a little smaller, no big deal. Throw it in. Okay. All right, so we do have 3 items that are on clearance right now because we're gonna get a new batch in soon. And these are the lemon pepper pizzazz, the zesty, and the ketchup. All the other, we've had various other items that we've put on clearance, but they've all sold out. So these are the last ones that are left. So we are gonna use the zesty on this. So all I'm gonna do is squeeze some lemon. And then, let me get my squeezer. Check out the quinoa. I can turn the heat down a little bit on this. That's a little high.
I love the addition of the turmeric to give it that color.
Yeah, it's a nice touch. And so now we just need to add a little liquid to the bowl here so that our zesty sticks. You can use anything you like. Our Fiesta blend is really good. We just got that back in stock. Our Stardust is really good for this. Any of our seasonings. The lemon pepper is what my mom loves doing the lemon pepper for this. So there's about half a lemon. Do I use the whole one? I think I do.
Feel free to mix and match spices too. You can get really wild.
Yeah, definitely. Oh man, I forgot to preheat this oven. That's okay, well, we won't need it for a while. Till the end of the show, we'll assemble this salad. Okay, so we've got our zesty, and I just eyeball it. You can just start sprinkling a couple of tablespoons. What did I put in the actual menu, the recipe? A tablespoon? I'd say 1 or 2 tablespoons. We're gonna make the equivalent of like 2 sheet pans worth. Let's get my monster spoon and give this a stir. You could put some nutritional yeast. We have a amazing non-fortified nutritional yeast. Our price is better than everybody else's. You can compare it to the Amazon one, and we have free USA shipping on all orders $50 or more. So try our nutritional yeast. It is non-fortified and really, really good. Okay, this is looking nice. So now we've got lots of flavor on these veggies. We're gonna just roast them, and that's it. Now, to put this all together, we're gonna take our roasted veggies, the cooked quinoa, and some salad dressing, and that's the whole deal. So all we had to do was do a little bit of chopping, and then the oven will do the rest of the work for us, no biggie. All right, let's see. We'll spread it out on two.
Delicious. Who doesn't love roasted vegetables?
I love roasted veggies. I also love it with our gravy. Oh, I love veggies, mashed potatoes, gravy. Okay, just spread this out so it's relatively even. I can take a little off this one and put it back on this one. And that's looking good. Okay, and so we're just gonna bake these we're gonna roast them in the oven on 425, and it takes like 30 minutes. In our case, it's gonna take a little longer because I didn't have the oven on. But that's okay, because I was gonna come back to it at the end anyway. So we'll just let them heat up in the oven as it preheats, no biggie. Okay, and then our quinoa is gonna be done in a couple minutes. What say you, Reebs?
I was gonna say, like, we have 3 different videos with cooking hacks in the kitchen, and one of them is to just make a sheet pan meal if you have a bunch of veggies you don't know what to do with. Chop them up and make a sheet pan meal. Why not? Yeah,
you can just every sheet pan meal process is pretty much the same. You just put everything in a bowl, add something to make it stick. It could be veggie stock, it could be lemon juice, it could be apple cider vinegar. Put on some seasoning. Doesn't have to be ours. You could get Miss Dash's, any kind of seasoning you like. Put it on there, and boom, you got roasted veggies. Now what do you do with them? Make it into this quinoa salad and do it like a cold dish, a hot dish. The great thing about this dish is really good hot, but then you can eat it right out of the fridge if you make a big batch. So it does last for a couple of lunches, which is nice. That's the scoop. Let's test this quinoa, and we will. Oh yeah, it's done. You can see it. The little grains kind of start to split. It is hard to totally overcook quinoa, I feel like, but if you let it sit really hot for too long, it can get a little bit mushy. So sometimes what I'll do if I'm making like a cold salad dish is I'll put a big piece of parchment paper out and then strain it and then dump it on the parchment paper and spread it out so it cools faster and doesn't get mushy. That's a really good technique for rice, cooling rice as well, because rice can be mushy when you cook with it. So, okay, let's get this. Back to you, Reebs.
Someone said in the chat, they're like, hey, wait a second, I actually kind of made a dish just like that today.
Oh, nice. Very nice. Yeah, this is, I mean, there's nothing unique or special about this. That's on purpose, by design. Now look at the beautiful color here. Isn't that gorgeous? You have this nice yellow color of your quinoa. I really enjoy that. And it does have the turmeric flavor and some of those health benefits, right?
Jesse says, I can never restrict myself to 1 tablespoon of anything.
Yeah. I don't think I do either. I mean, everybody makes fun of me because I say a tablespoon and they see me using like a 1/4 cup in my hand.
Yeah, they see you using your whole hand and calling it a teaspoon and a half. Like, look, get out of town.
We don't eat salt, oil, and sugar. You gotta flavor it somehow, and that's gonna be by beefing up the spices. You know, everybody else, they'll use like a little teaspoon of this and that, and then they'll put tablespoons worth of oil. Well, sure, it's gonna trick you into tasting good, but it ain't gonna help you. Okay, let's set these. These are the sweet mustard and the sweet heat we're going to be using when we assemble all of this. Let's move on, and we'll come back and we'll put the salad together at the end. The other 2 are really easy. I think I'm going to do the soup. Yeah, I'll do the soup first so that it has some time to cook too. And then we're going to do the cheesy hash brown bake, which actually, if you look closely, is already in the Breville. We're going to do a switcheroo. So, because that one takes a little time. You're not supposed to tell
people the switcheroo. You're just supposed to come out with it already done.
Okay, it's supposed to just be a magic trick.
Movie magic.
Dang it. Okay.
Just
I'm
kidding.
too honest. Okay. My ethics are too high. I have to tell you.
But I think, Dillon, that you haven't given this potato corn chowder the fanfare it deserves.
Okay, Reebs, tell us about the potato corn chowder as I grab the items.
We started doing a series on our live cooking show, our members show, which you can sign up for, called 10-Minute Meals. And it took the world by storm, I swear. And this was on episode 1 of our 10-Minute Meals. And it's just been going crazy. There's at least one person, at least one, usually 2 or 3 in our Facebook group that are making this all the time. And this is made with all frozen and canned ingredients, just like Chef AJ taught us that it's okay to do. But you know what? You can make it with fresh too. I mean, the sky's the limit. You don't have to follow our recipes to a T.
Yeah, some people don't like, because with the frozen hash brown potatoes, or these aren't the hash browns, these are the cubed potatoes, or potatoes O'Brien that have the little peppers in them. Here, have a look. These are a really awesome tool. Some people don't like that they get a little bit mushy when you cook them, if you leave the soup on the stove for a while after it's like done. And so you can of course just make your own, peel your potatoes, chop them up, or don't peel them, excuse me, chop them up, and that's that. But this, like Reeb said, really fast and simple, and the flavor is fantastic. That's the perfect Well Your World meal. The flavor is awesome. The prep is really simple. You can do this any night of the week, and we do. I often do this one for lunch because it's so fast, and we're so busy during the workday. So this is a perfect one. I made it yesterday as well. So one bag, this is like a 28-ounce bag, whatever, of the cubed potatoes. Check it out. They've got the little bits of bell pepper in there. It's such a small amount that it's not very consequential, but I figure, hey, they're the same price. If they're gonna put them in, I'll take them. But I gotta add some things. So this is the one, this is my favorite. Let me get another item that I like to use as well. This is called, so the one I've got right here is, this is a Kroger, but lots of different brands make. So this is Fry's, Kroger, Mirepoix mix. This is carrot, celery, onion, already chopped up in the bag. But some places, if you can't find that, you can get, this is great value. So that's Walmart. This is celery, onion, bell pepper, green bell pepper and red bell pepper, and some parsley. Okay, I'll take it. I am using parsley in this dish, so that works. And so I'll put the seasoning blend back in the fridge, and I'll use the Mirepoix because I've had it sit out and it got already thawed.
Cassandra says she uses the hash browns for this recipe, and it turns out just fine.
Yeah, I have heard others do that, so it just makes the hash browns, that would be like the ones we're gonna do in the next one. So the shredded potatoes in the freezer bag. So nice to use those. They just kind of fall apart and turn into this nice creamy soup. So really, really cool.
I like the texture when it gets mushy. I mean, it's a chowder after all. And you know, Dillon used to make this delicious potato leek soup from scratch. And honestly, this recipe is just as good as his from scratch recipe. So we often opt for this one because it's so fast.
Yeah, I still love that one. It's got a different flavor, but it is just as good. So you're like, well, this one's really fast, so why don't I do that? Okay, so here's the rest of what we're throwing in. I've got a can of corn, so this is like 1.5 cups of corn. Just strain out the liquid. I already did. This is just the corn left. So throw that in. You could use the freezer bag corn. You could throw any other veggies that you know you love into this dish. It could be peas. It could be even that frozen butternut squash. I have actually done that in this. And now it's just the flavoring. So we're gonna throw in, we've got some, I love tarragon. This is like my little secret ingredient. It's dry. These are all dried ingredients, okay? Tarragon just gives it a unique flavor. We've got parsley, chives, some paprika, smoky or sweet, doesn't matter, and then some minced garlic. This is just the cheater garlic. Boom. So I'm just gonna throw that stuff all in. And notice this is just a cold pot. We're just throwing everything in. You don't have to mess around at all. There's no saute step. Just throw it all in and get back to something else.
Get back to something else.
Our nutritional yeast. This is an important ingredient in this one. I use, Rebecca, thank you so much for putting the measuring cup out. I use about 1/4 to 1/2 cup of this. That's usually about 2 handfuls, okay? This is our nutritional yeast I was telling you about. Best flavor, best price. Get one today. Then we've got some black pepper, or you could use crushed red pepper if you like it a little bit spicy, but black pepper is pretty critical. I also like to serve it with a little bit of black pepper on top.
Still, you know what you should do is switch out the spices for your fiesta and your chili lime and make like a Latin version.
Ooh, you can make like a Mexican creamy stew. I like that. Here, I'm gonna throw in a quart of veggie stock. This is the one that we like. It's the Pacific low sodium. It's not no sodium, unfortunately, but the flavor of the actual, like the vegetable part of the broth is really good. Some of the unsalted ones, for some reason, it's not the salt that I'm complaining about, the flavor. The actual flavor of it is like not right. It's just not right.
It's just wrong.
And you can, so I'm putting in 4 cups of the veggie stock, and then here I have 2 cups of soy milk. I'm throwing that in too. And then if you want more liquid, you can add water, you can add more soy milk, you can add more veggie stock, whatever you prefer.
I like to add a little more, if it calls for it, I like to add more water when we're using the veggie stock already, because you don't have to keep adding that much veggie stock.
And yeah, and because the flavor's in there. Here's the little card, okay? So print these cards, put them on your door. This is like fast, easy cooking.
Oh, did you show those cards?
Oh, I can show it a little bit closer. So it just looks like this. Potato corn chowder. And you can see, I even, Rebecca, not me, even snuck in the method so that you can have a quick reminder of the method. You don't need a picture anymore because you've got the picture. We include in the PDF the full page recipes too with the pictures and a more detailed version of the method. And then we have like a little bit more of an abridged version of the method and then all the ingredients here. And that's usually all you need because these are dishes you're cooking all the time, day in, day out. So you don't really need a lot of description after that. Am I right?
Yeah, you know, we only put 12 recipes in the rotator because how many do you need in a month? Honestly, most meal planners have like 31 recipes and you want to talk about decision fatigue, that's overwhelming.
Yeah.
I think you should have, you know, 8 to 12 up on your pantry door or your refrigerator and just look at those till you get bored of one and you swap it out. And that's going to be the key to success, is having these same meals over and over, whether it's because you have leftovers of that one meal or it's because you make it again because it's one of your favorites.
Those long meal planners, they're not just overwhelming, it is gambling. It's pretty much gambling. You're saying on day 21, I'm going to want to eat XYZ thing. And it's just like, are you really going to do that? Even day 5, like if you're guessing what you're going to be fancying for food 3 days from today, the chances of you getting that right, it's gambling, okay? You're going to end up with food going bad, stress, and an unhealthy burrito from right across the street. And so don't do that. Okay, this is just heating up. That's it. We're just going to heat. Look at this. It says, well, your world.
I love that one.
All you got to do is heat this up and let it simmer. Turn down the heat once it's boiling. So let it simmer until the potatoes and the veggies are tender. It usually only takes maybe 10 minutes. You can do 20 if you want to, but it's fast. It's fast.
You can't overdo it. Dillon will just put it on like low and leave it there so we can just come and help ourselves all day long.
Okay, here we go with another simple dish. We're going too fast, folks.
Yeah,
3 meals.
Slow
down. Let's have a chat. What do you want to talk about? Anything you want to know about me and Reebs? Don't you want to know our love story?
Dill, we don't have to get that wild.
Was our love story that wild?
You know, I've told it before on the show. I usually tell it on Chef AJ's show because we met at Chef AJ's conference, so I'm not shy.
We did. For the longest time, Chef AJ took all the credit for our entire relationship. I think even the birth of our son, AJ feels...
I never got anything from it.
What would you like? I'm not used to giving, what's it called when the dude gives a dowry?
Dowry, yeah.
A dowry. I'm not used to that.
I almost said bounty. That's the wrong thing.
You tell us what you want, AJ, we'll get it for you. Because we sure appreciate it.
I want my YouTube award.
Oh, that's right. We do need to do that. Okay, I'll call you from the airplane.
At this point, if they don't send you one, I'll chisel one for you myself.
She did do that.
Yeah,
I'm one of the only YouTubers that has a 50,000 plaque. Can I even take this off the wall? I don't dare. I think you stuck that thing right on there.
I use the strongest glue and it's stuck to those Subway towels.
Oh, really?
No.
It is a bronze, right?
Yeah.
Plaque, but it's actually just a canvas. What's the wood frame canvas thing? And it says 50,000 subscribers. You came when we had 35,000 is when I met Rebecca. Because I started about two and a half years or so before I met Rebecca, and I was just making YouTube videos, and it was the year when I met you is when we first came out with our sauces, and AJ liked them so much, she pretty much forced me to come to her conference to sell them. She made a deal I couldn't resist. I couldn't turn it down, and I'm so glad I did. So that's...
They're saying, give Chef AJ her award.
I don't have the award,
Yeah,
you guys. I didn't receive the award, and I'm just...
It's not like Dillon is withholding.
It's just that AJ needed help, and I will get the form submitted to help you get that. I'm gonna make a note so I don't forget. In fact, if maybe you guys have the keyboard right in front of you, you could send me a text reminding me to get with AJ on that.
Mm-hmm.
Okay.
So you know what I was gonna bring up that we talk about in the Meal Rotator though, because we're talking about this with the meal planner and whatnot, is a lot of people write us in, they send us an email or they post to our Facebook group and they say, what's the serving size for this?
Oh boy. AJ, what do you say to that serving size question?
Until you're full.
Until you're freaking full, people. That's how many servings. But how many servings in a recipe? I don't know. Some of my recipes are bigger. You can see like that's a sizable pot of soup. I err on the big side, I will be honest. I do like to have more food so that I have at least one meal of leftovers or one meal later that day. I have no problem eating the same lunch, breakfast, lunch, and dinner, frankly, with a couple of varied snacks in between, you know? But I do err on the side of big. So, but do I ever count servings? No. In our cookbook, are we ever going to tell you how many calories per serving, the macronutrients in a dish? No, there's no reason. I just recorded a video that we're going to put up on Tuesday of this coming week, next week, that is about macronutrients. Everybody is so fixated on how much protein, how much carbs, how much fat. Oh, I got to count these calories and figure. No, if you remove all the garbage, it turns out you can be full all the time, and we usually are. And you know, we have a nice long fast at the end of the evening and through the night, and then we eat. Then we stay full. In fact, if you're new to this, I think the easiest way to make it simple and to stick to it so that you don't get a bunch of crazy cravings is to stay full. Stay full on potatoes all day long, and then you won't be tempted to the other things. And during that time, that first couple of weeks, if you stay full on all the healthy food and have so much of it available, more than you can eat, then you'll neuroadapt to it. You'll forget about all of those cravings after enough time goes by, just like Dr. DDL talks about.
I was just going to mention that I was watching some of his older lectures, and Dr. Lau's been saying these two things forever. He's been saying, cook extra, because you want to have it in your fridge for when you come home and you didn't plan ahead, and now you've got leftovers. And he's also said, what was the second thing?
Don't major and minor things. I mean, the nutrient chasing and stuff, he hates all that.
Yeah.
Good.
Well, now we have to, well, you probably know this, right? About, you know, recommending oil now, some of the vegan doctors and taking DHA supplements.
What do you think of it?
Well, I think it's nonsense.
Yeah. I think if you have a deficiency, you know, there's nothing wrong with checking your blood, I guess, once in a while if you're really concerned about it. We are all HCNCs, right? We're hyper conscientious about our health. So, okay, if you're worried about being low on something, the solution isn't to just pack in the maximum amount every day in a supplement. It's to go see if you actually have a problem. And if you do, then you can modify your diet to include more ground flaxseed and chia seeds, for example. Put it in everything. And then if that doesn't work after a month or so, check it again, and then maybe you have to supplement. Some people have to supplement, I get that. But for the vast majority of people that are in a normal health zone, you know, maybe you've got weight to lose, that's not what I'm talking about, but you don't have like a rare, unique illness or health issue that would require you to supplement with something, then you can just eat healthy food and you're going to be fine. Dr. Clapper is great for advocating for just eat the food. Dr. Goldhammer.
Well, actually, he's one of the people that started taking DHA now, which is why people are all taking DHA now, because he decided to supplement with it.
I thought he was taking it, then he stopped. So maybe it's the opposite of that. He wasn't doing it.
He stopped, and now he's taking it again. And so people are saying, well, Dr. Clapper's taking it, so I should take it.
Think about it this way, folks. If the doctors are willy-nilly switching between taking it and not taking it so easily, then chances are you're not going to die if you don't. But a lot of the doctors get caught up on perfection sometimes, even the ones apparently that we think are really advocating for keeping it simple. So look at how beautiful and creamy this soup is. Oh my goodness. Now I've just turned down the heat just to like a medium low, and just let it sit. I love the cast iron Dutch ovens because they really heat evenly, and you can just leave it there on low and the whole thing will stay nice and warm, and you can grab a scoop whenever you want to throughout the day. I'll just put the on all the way to low and then cover it. Boom, you got food. Okay, are we ready for meal number 3? Have we ranted enough?
The only thing I was going to add is, you know, a lot of people switch this diet and they're used to the word diet meaning deprivation. And I really do think that you should pack yourself till you're so full that you can't even think about going down the street to the drive-thru.
Yeah, and also to make it obvious to people that like this is not about restricting or minimizing your calorie intake, so to speak. You're going to accidentally minimize your calorie intake just because you're focusing on calorie density. Eat from the right groups, food group. I call them food groups. They're not what we all grew up thinking of as food groups, vegetables, fruit, whatever. But I just eat most of my food from the non-starchy veggies, the whole fruit, and the whole starches. Definitely most of my calories come from the whole starches, obviously. Everything else has too few calories. And then I do eat a little bit of nuts and seeds, avocado, things like that. But I don't want you to think that you have to. That's another trope that just gets old. You can test for these things. Your blood will tell you the story. Okay, let's do this. This is probably one of the most popular dishes we have right now. The cheesy hash brown casserole is, Rebecca was saying, a lot of people are posting about this chowder. Well, this one is being posted about right now big time as well. This is our cheesy hash brown casserole. It's in the rotator as well. The link's down below. Here's our little card to go with it that you can put on the fridge. And this one uses our cheese sauce. You don't have to use our cheese sauce. You can make a cheese sauce from scratch. If you search on YouTube, Well Your World cheese sauce, you can see a very old video of me acting like a dork and making cheese sauce from scratch a few different ways. It's fast, it's simple, but this is faster and simpler. And the thing I love about this is it is a very reliable flavor every time. It's consistent, I should say. You know that when I make my cheese sauce the way I'm going to show you that I make it, it is going to taste the same every time. So this one's using our cheese sauce mix. We just got it back into stock this morning, and it is selling like hotcakes right now. Remember, free shipping, $50 USA. Okay. So here's what I do. And now a lot of people, they just use this and water. That's it. You just add as much water to the blender, put in as much cheese sauce to get it to the thickness that you like. You're done. You don't need a recipe. You don't need a recipe regardless. But here's how I like to do it. I add a little bit of extra flavor for mine. That's going to be too much. Okay. I add some cashews, first of all. Check it out. So I've got my little blender canister. I'll throw in a handful of cashews, maybe like a quarter cup. We're going to be going for about 2.5 cups of cheese sauce. So for that, you usually would do like 2 cups of water. So here's the next thing that I really like. Let's just go here. These are dried little chili pods, okay? You can buy them as chili pods like this, or you can just use your favorite chili powder already ground up, no big deal. I love to have a little bit of a Latin flavor, and I've written a few recipe ideas on the bottle, but this is how I make it every time. Rebecca does it a little differently. She adds lemon. She always puts lemon in. I always forget to put lemon in. Today is no exception. So I throw in it's ready. I throw in a couple of the chili pods. They're pretty mild. I don't like it like crazy spicy. I like it actually very spicy, but I don't make it very spicy. And then I have some miso paste. This is too much. I'm not going to use this much, but I use like just a little bit, a teaspoon or 2 of miso paste. This is adding salt now. If you are totally SOS-free, don't use miso paste, obviously. A lot of people say, oh, miso paste is a special kind of salt. It doesn't raise your blood pressure. I went back and watched that video you told me to watch, AJ, with that guy about the salt. I completely agree with him that the people that are saying that miso has some sort of special effect, that it's not like sodium, bull. That is bull. It is salt, and it is up to you whether you want to add it or not. I add a little bit to our cheese sauce. That's just my choice. It's perfectly delicious without it, especially since you're going to have obviously a palate already trained for not expecting a miso flavor. Okay, then I take my kettle. I usually use boiling water because I'm like immediately making a mac and cheese with it. I'll just cook pasta, mix it with my cheese sauce, and I'm done. This one, you don't have to use boiling water because we're gonna bake it in the oven. This is a casserole. But if all this stuff's frozen, it is nice to use a boiling hot cheese sauce because it will kind of thaw your veggies and save you a little bit of cook time. Whatever. So I'm gonna throw in like 2 cups-ish, whatever, of water. And then, since I added a bunch of chunky stuff, I like to blend it for a second first. And then I'll add my cheese sauce. So now we're gonna have a watery mix of cashews and chili pepper, whatever. Okay, so now you can see, if you look at this is just liquid. I mean, this is just watery. See that? Now we need to add enough cheese sauce to get it to where it's thick enough. That's it. You don't have to measure. You just now add enough to get it to the creaminess that you like. So I'll add a little bit, just dump it in, put the the lid back on and run it. Okay, it's still pretty liquidy. Add a little bit more, run it. Still liquidy, add a little more. Okay, it's getting thick now. Maybe just a tiny bit more, and I'll show you the consistency and how I eyeball it so you can see my little trick. Okay, so here's what I've got now. If you look, you can just see that it's thick but not like liquidy. And I just go by a visual of how thick it kind of appears. That's it. That's it. You don't need to measure anything. You can when you're getting started. I did put a recipe on the bottle because too many people are afraid to just wing it and try. Okay, so that's our cheese sauce all ready. Now I'm going to take another big mixing bowl. These, by the way, are the big mixing bowls from IKEA. They're my favorite because they have a really small bottom, so when you're spinning, you want it to be a spin bowl, and you need less friction when you're spinning. Okay, so here's what we're gonna do. I've got a bunch of delicious, oh, by the way, this is what the miso paste looks like that we use. You can get it at most grocery stores now, if you're into this sort of thing. Dang, I'm not running a makeup channel. I don't know how to get things focused. There you go. So that's what it looks like. Okay, so now the magic happens. I have 1 bag. These are the shredded hash brown potatoes, okay? What does this say? 26-ounce bag. I've seen 26, 28. Oh, my monitor turned off. Can you still hear me, AJ?
Yeah, I can hear you fine. I had my mic turned off too, so I'd get better sound. I can hear you perfect.
Okay. All right, so I am going to cut this open and dump it in. You can let it thaw if you want to. You don't have to, whatever. The oven will do the thawing for you, of course. But we're throwing the whole bag of hash browns in. You could make a double batch of this if you wanted. It's so good, and it keeps perfectly well in the fridge. You don't need to rush to eat it all. You can enjoy it all week. You could refreeze it. I get a lot of questions about people want to refreeze things. Since it was already a frozen thing, the texture might not be great, but okay, here's what so we've put in the potatoes. Now you throw in, again, anything you want. Whatever you like that's frozen, go with that. In fact, the one that's coming out of the oven that we're going to do the switcheroo is different than the one that's going in. So here is peas and carrots. Here is a bag of frozen peas and carrots. I'm going to use about half of it. I love peas in this. If you're gonna throw carrots in too, whatever, the more the merrier, bring it on. Then I've got a bag of chopped onion. Of course, you can use fresh items too. This is about the equivalent of 1 chopped yellow onion, okay? Cut that open, throw it in. And now, this is the first time I'll be using this. It looks really cool. This was at Winco. AJ, it's one of your favorite stores too. The San Francisco blend. This has green beans, broccoli, onions, mushrooms, and red peppers. So that sounded really good when I saw it, and I thought, oh, that'll be fun to do on AJ. So we're gonna throw in the whole bag of this too. So we're doubling up a little bit on onions, but whatever. Is there ever too many onions? Okay. So now we've got a whole pot here, a whole bowl of frozen stuff. Let's put this tray over here. I'm gonna turn my soup down a little bit.
It smells so good in here.
That's good. I'm glad to hear it, because all of them are meshing together in my nostrils now. Now we have our cheese sauce, and this is literally just as simple as dump it in. And then use your blender spatula and get its liquid gold, so you don't want to lose any. Some people ask me, does it taste like cheese? I don't know. I haven't tasted cheese in years. I wouldn't have any idea. What I can tell you is that it's delicious. And you use it the same as you use a cheese sauce. Does it actually taste like cheese? Oh, I sure hope not. Why would you want it to taste like cheese? Mm-hmm. Cheese is bad for you. Rinse your blender canister immediately so it doesn't get crusty, okay? That's my public service announcement every time.
Debbie says the magic already happens when Reebs and you are together on this show. Love you guys' interactions with each other, and of course the recipes. Thank you.
Thank you. Was that Debbie you said? Mm-hmm. Thank you, Debbie. I like her too. You know that? And she's the world's best mom. It's amazing watching Rebecca with that little baby. I can't believe how much he's learning from you and just observing, and from both of us. But you are an amazing mother. It's been a really fun time.
Well, you're a great dad too.
Oh.
You go above and beyond what most dads do.
Well, thanks.
Monster spoon.
I wouldn't know. It's my first time. Now we're just mixing. We got cheese sauce. We got all the frozen veggies. It's really that simple, okay? Cheese sauce, veggies, boom. You want to make it pretty saucy because we are going to bake it for like 45 minutes. And so it's obviously going to thicken up some. So it's okay if your cheese sauce is a little bit looser, a little wetter than you normally would make it if you were like making mac and cheese, or just putting it over your cauliflower and broccoli. Oh, that's one of my favorites. Or just dipping with the wedge potato fries like AJ makes. Those are my favorite thing to dip in cheese sauce.
Hey, we basically bought that Bravo onion after making potato wedge fries at AJ's house.
Yeah, she's like, you guys, you don't own one of these yet? You need to get one. You need to commit to getting one or leave. That's pretty much what AJ said that day. So we got one, and we don't regret it. Okay, now we got a little Pyrex glass bake. This one's a little bigger than it needed to be for this size dish, but my one I really like is already being utilized. So this will look a little less than full, but that's it. We're just throwing it right in here. Sorry about the scraping. Boom. Look at that. Oh boy. And now you can just, shake it even. You can spread it around with your monster spoon. Get it nice and even. Now, if you're a breadcrumb person, you like a casserole with the breadcrumbs. If I use breadcrumbs, I usually don't for this because it's already got enough flavor from everything we've got going on here. But you could take some Ezekiel slices. The Ezekiel is probably the healthiest bread. It's not totally salt-free, but it is sugar and oil-free. And I like it because it doesn't taste very good on its own as bread. And bread is very rich, so the worst you can settle, the least flavorful bread you can settle on will keep you from eating too much of it, or will help from keeping from you're eating too much of it. So I'll toast the Ezekiel slices, maybe 1, 2 at the most for this, and then let it dry. Take it out of the toaster for like a minute so it kind of dries a little, and then blend it and sprinkle it on top. Now you have breadcrumbs that aren't going to have the white flour. Usually all breadcrumbs from the store bought as breadcrumbs have a lot of the white flour and oil and garbage. Some people like panko. I forget what the ingredients of panko is, so I don't even know why I brought that up. And that's it. Put it in there uncovered, 45 minutes at 350. And now let me do some magic.
I can't wait to see the magic happen.
Oh, Reebs.
They're laughing at you saying, I like it because it doesn't taste very good.
Yeah, that's important. You want to, another key to success is trying to make things taste as least good as you can, but being good enough to enjoy. No, that's not how I design my recipes. That's just a good way of thinking about things, because the more used to the rich flavors you are, the harder it's going to be to stick to it. So if you can get really used to not so rich flavors, it's a good way to think about things. But obviously,
you know how Dr. Goldhammer always says at True North, we make good food taste not bad.
There you go. I love that. Man, that man is my spirit animal. His just totally dry delivery of everything is so funny to me. Okay, here it is. Are you ready to see it? Let me get another thing so I don't destroy my cutting board. Here we go. This is the casserole. It just looks like a drier version of what went in. It's beautiful, it's delicious, and I'd like to taste it now.
Because of course Dillon has to taste it piping hot.
Well, actually, it won't be too hot because it was sitting in the Breville
in the hot oven.
It stopped a few minutes ago. Okay, here we go. So I just take a spatula. It's not like you're getting, pieces of lasagna here. It's just a loose casserole, but everything's cooked together. You got all this beautiful flavor. Now is when, if you wanted, you could put a little bit of crushed black pepper on there. Ooh.
It almost reminds me of a tuna casserole.
Yeah, it's kind of like that. What were you gonna say, Reebs?
What about Well Your World sriracha?
Ooh, I'll get some sriracha. I do love that sriracha. Yeah, I love fast, easy casseroles. I do love that the Kathy Fisher's, where is my, here it is. Tuna casserole, that's one of my favorites too. Here is our Well Your World sriracha, something fell. And I'll just kind of drizzle on a little bit. It's not too hot, for you people that are afraid of a little heat. It does have some heat, but it's not like a lingering heat. It's a heat that sort of goes away after your bite.
But you know what, Dill? You know what some people eat their hash browns with? Ketchup. And our ketchup's on sale. Our
ketchup is on sale. You can enjoy this with ketchup as well. Oh, it's hot. You did call that.
Keeps its heat in that casserole,
It sure does. It turns out it's an oven. This is really good. I could eat this. I love this one. I had cauliflower. I chopped up cauliflower. I did do half of that bag of the peas and carrots, cauliflower, onions, and I think that was it, and the potatoes, of course. So simple, so fast. You saw how fast we put it together. So nice.
That's amazing. That looks so good.
You like this one? Thank you.
That looks so beautiful.
The best part is that it's easy. You can get such rich, delicious flavor without a lot of trouble, and I think that is the name of the game.
It's easy and it's cheesy.
It's easy, cheesy.
And it's peasy too, because you got peas in it. It's easy, cheesy, peasy.
We got to make a shirt.
Yeah.
We got to make a shirt.
Right
this
away.
Is our Level Up Mario plant-powered shirt. It's the pixelated mushroom. Reebs and Cassandra, they do all these shirts. They're pretty punny around here.
So fun watching you. Less fun watching you eat because we can't join you.
I know. That's one of my big complaints on the cooking show is people show up and they haven't eaten yet and they're like, we really should have eaten before the show. Okay, because I used soy milk, it might, get a little curdly. No big deal. It all tastes the same. Just give it a stir and everything is great in this soup. You can use almond milk or oat milk or whatever milk you like, but it adds a nice little creaminess to it that I love. So let's give you can see that This is with the 4 cups of veggie stock and the 2 cups of milk. So this is a nice soupy consistency for me. I like it. Sometimes though, I'll add like more veggies and then I'll need to add a little bit more liquid because I didn't follow my own recipe.
Lisa's reminding people that she always has to eat before our cooking show. It's a must.
Definitely. It can be a bit of a tease since you can't taste through the camera. Okay, there's a bowl of soup. The simplest ever stew, soup, chowder, whatever we're calling it. And now, if you're a salt person, this is when you could sprinkle on a little bit of like iodized salt, but you don't need to put it into the whole pot. Like Dr. McDougall says, that diminishes the flavor of the salt. Now you're getting even more sodium and you're not even really getting the benefit of the flavor. So I would, if you're a salt person, you could sprinkle on a little bit of salt at the table. Okay, or our Stardust. Our Stardust salt substitute is excellent for that very thing. Perfect.
These are a comfort meals.
I love the crunchy corn. It's like one of my favorites. Ooh, this is hot. It does need to sit. The potatoes are perfect. The potatoes are excellent. The potatoes are not like too mushy. I mean, they are frozen potatoes, so they're not going to be like an al dente russet potato that is cooked at just the right time. It's going to be mushier than. These are the things that we settle on because they're good enough. You don't need to have perfect, absolutely perfect texture or the same exact texture every time. Just get to know the flavors that you like, keep it really simple, and stop being a princess. Okay.
That's a good shirt. Stop being a princess.
Okay. We could play with that.
I have a shirt on today that says this, not bad for vegan. Cute.
Yep. Okay, so let me check. How are our veggies, Reebs? Take it away. Oh, they look good. Oh yeah, we're ready.
Everyone's laughing at how you have like a mouth made out of steel.
Yeah, it takes some training. It's like sword swallowers. I don't want to do that though. I'm not going to train for that. Okay, let's get our veggies out and put our final recipe together. Sorry, AJ, we're going a little long.
That's okay.
I'm going to just get out 1 sheet pan. Well, no, I need to use all the quinoa. We're going for it. We're going to do them both. Okay, look at these beauties. Here's up close and personal. Just a nice seasoned roasted veggies. Very simple. We didn't do anything fancy. Just chop the veggies, throw them on there. Boom, done. Okay. Now let's get our, well, I'm going to just use a big bowl again. Okay, we'll just toss it like a salad. This is currently a hot salad. You can let this cool in the fridge and eat it cold. You don't need to reheat it unless you want to. So I'm just going to take a mixing bowl. We've got our quinoa. You remember this nice, beautiful turmeric quinoa? It was just quinoa, water, turmeric. That was all we did. Throw that in there. Then we've got our veggies. You can I'll get another spatula and we'll scrape it right off the parchment paper. Check it out. Oh, these are nice. I like them just a little bit more done than the average person. So this is perfect for me. A little bit of crispy edges is nice.
Yeah, it is a good flavor.
Okay, and then I just, take it and like this, and boom, dump it in. Sheet pan number 2.
Oh man, those look absolutely delicious too.
And how simple. Remember when I did it on your show and we did the roasted fennel, AJ? Oh, that was
so good.
Okay, here we go. Boom. Get rid of these. And now all it is a matter of tossing. So now if you were going to store this in the fridge for the week, for your lunches, whatever, you could hold off on adding any more sauce until you're actually going to eat it, and you could toss it at that time. Check this out. Let's just give this a toss so you can see the beautiful texture, the quinoa, the veggies.
Look at the colors.
I love starchy salad. I don't even know why we call this a salad. It could just as well be, well, I don't know what else I would call it, but it's just veggies and quinoa, and as a nice cold salad, it's just perfect. Okay, so let's do, we said we were gonna do the sweet heat and the sweet mustard. These go together like really well. So just add a bit. I'm gonna start with the sweet heat. Just add a bit, you know, a half a cup or a quarter cup. You know whether you like salads really saucy or a little saucy. And then just start stirring. Okay, needs more, no problem. Let's get the sweet mustard going in there. Oh.
That's the Chef AJ combo right there.
This was Chef AJ. You invented this combo when I was back in your house in March of 2020, pre-pandemic, 2 days pre-pandemic.
I know, crazy, huh? We just made it.
And then that's it. Just toss it. I did the whole thing as you saw, but I could have just taken a bowl's worth out and then just tossed it with just my bowl, you know? I don't want to do too much. It's so easy to overdo it.
So many people are
I
saying,
can smell it. It smells so good.
so many people are saying that this would be perfect to bring to the office.
Oh yeah, this is perfect for, I mean, the office.
Or a potluck.
Or a potluck. You don't have to worry about keeping it cold. So that's really nice. Like there's nothing in here that's gonna spoil, and there's nothing in here that would taste bad just at regular old room temperature. You can take it camping. This is an awesome camping dish because it's already made. Nothing you gotta do except take it out of your cooler and enjoy. So I love these simple dishes that are very versatile, don't require a lot of babysitting, you know what I mean? Okay, there it is. Let's have a taste of that one. Reebs, I haven't given you a taste because it's too hot for you. I already know.
Yeah.
Here's the casserole, taste that. It's cooled down now. Let me get a bowl for my salad here.
Cassandra's reminding us that this was on the Lunches on the Go cooking show. So if you want all of our brand new recipes, well, brand new to you, then join our cooking show because that's where they come out first.
Yeah, all of our recipes that we end up putting in our cookbooks, on YouTube eventually, everything comes out on our cooking show first. This is essentially our experimenting with you. Not experimenting, we practiced most of it before. I always like to do, on that note, I always like to do at least one recipe during the show that I've never tried before so that we're winging it from scratch and you can kind of experience that process. We'd love to have you join us. Go ahead, Reebs.
We're group creating the recipe.
There you go. That's true, and the people watching usually name it. The chat box, it's, you know, people think, oh, this is just a cooking class. It's not meant to be a class at all. It's meant to give you ideas for how to cook. It's meant to give you a place of community because a lot of us don't have anybody in our lives who eat like us. So you can get in the chat box and have fun. I'm sure that's why a lot of people watch Chef AJ's live shows, because they can find the regulars in the chat box and have fun and hang out. And it feels like you're fulfilling that community aspect in your life. So I think it's really important, and we do a lot of that on our show too. And we've done 117 episodes now. And you, as a member, you get access to all of our previous shows, all of the PDFs. We make nice PDFs just like these that you can print out with a beautiful picture and the recipe and everything. So even if you miss the show, you can still do the recipe because we have it as a recipe. And you get all of the back episodes, and you get a 10% off discount in our store for everything. Cookbooks, the digital cookbooks, the print cookbooks, all of our food products, 10%. If we have clearance items, like I told you, we have a couple right now, you get an additional 10% off. You get to stack the deals. So join us. We do have a show. What's our show? Backyard barbecue. We are gonna do a little Memorial Day special on Friday of next week. Our show is always on Fridays, two Fridays every month we do the show. I've never missed a show. We got our next one next week. So we're gonna be making some kind of like cookout recipe. I'm not gonna grill. I don't grill, but I am gonna make things that are really good for taking to a barbecue, potlucky type recipes like this. Stuff like that. So we'd love to have you on our show. It's really fun, and please join us.
Have you noticed that I can't stop eating this cheesy casserole? It is so delicious.
Good. Okay, let's taste this salad. Simple salad. I love this thing. Perfect flavor. The texture of the quinoa. And the veggies. So good. Now, You're getting full off starches. Oh, the sweetness from the sweet heat and the sweet mustard together are so good. Tons of veggies, tons of starches. You're hitting all the well-balanced, food groups so that you're getting a nice variety of ingredients in your diet. That's all you got to worry about. Change it up from time to time. That's it. You don't need to worry about, am I going to peel the carrots or not? Am I going to cook them? Am I going to steam them with water? Or am I going to boil it? And don't worry about all of that crap. Just make simple, healthy food with a wide variety of ingredients, and you will achieve great health.
Amen, brother.
Thanks, AJ.
This was fabulous as usual. Thank you so much, guys.
Thanks for having us. It's great to be with you all. We'll see you again.
Always. All right.
Thanks,
Thank
AJ.
you, guys. And thanks all of you for watching another episode of Chef AJ Live. Please come back tomorrow for The Doctor is In, a Q&A with Dr. Ron Weiss. You've got to submit your questions in advance when it's a medical doctor. Thanks, everyone.